as a 21-year-old, like somehow God is gonna bring something out of the ashes here, and he has. I really believe that. I look back and I go like, wow, like it's not a perfect church, but I think what God has done is actually a miracle. Like our church shouldn't exist. It really should have just like folded and died. Yeah, or like been absorbed into something else.
Kind of would have been okay too.
Yeah.
Because of what happened. Like you talked about people leaving. I get it.
Yeah.
Like, there was a horrific thing that happened.
Totally.
But it's cool that God redeems.
Yep. He does.
It's crazy.
What thoughts do you have over there?
I just think it's awesome watching like kingdom culture go from like 2 dodgy warehouse buildings to then that other dodgy car park building to now you're going in your own building. Like it's like so much adversity has come that way, but it's like God will build his church.
Yeah.
It's like don't put your faith in people because God will keep building it.
Yeah.
It's like you just got to put faith in him.
Yeah.
So hard. How do you not put faith in people after that?
Well, I think things like that
help.
I was going to say, that probably helps.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah.
I think you realize like you don't despise the humanity in the man of God. So there's leaders, and it's a biblical thing. Like I'm re-listening to Undercover by John Bevere again, and it's such a good, hard-hitting, everyone listens to that all the time. It's just good, like to remind us, because like we live in a generation that's democratic, like a society. Our culture is like everything is, the leader needs to represent me, needs to represent my values. If I don't see what I want, I'm going to walk. Like we don't have like a super strong grid for authority and honor, like compared to some of the other cultures, in the East. And so I think sometimes we see the humanity in our leaders and we despise them for that. And we just like, well, they can't then be like a man of God. And I'm not saying, obviously, in that context, there's consequences. Like as soon as we found out, the next day there's a statement read, of course, that job is gone. Yeah. So there's obviously consequences, but I think, I do think we have to hold that tension of, okay, my hope isn't built on a leader. There is no perfect leader. We always think the grass is greener, but like ultimately, like at the end of the day, there's going to be flaws in every single leader. And I think the more that the more involved that you get and the more leadership that you take on and the more you're entrusted with, the more that's the tension that you have to hold. And so I think walking in honor and walking in submission and walking in and calling and obedience to the Lord. Like I just think honestly, I do agree. Like when a leader fails, it makes so much sense to leave. I do wonder how many people seriously pray like in those moments, because like, it totally does make sense. But I think sometimes
and you might have a peace after prayer to leave, and some people might.
Totally,
yeah, for sure,
totally. But I just don't. I think sometimes when a church goes through a rattle, whether it's something like that, or there's all kinds of things that our churches can go through where it's tricky. There's transition. There's something going on. Yeah. And I think people go like it's a natural place to reevaluate and be like, I'm out. But is there a submissive prayer before the Lord? Like, what are you saying? Because I'll do what you say, rather than telling the Lord our plan and being like, sick, good, tick, Because he does. Like, I do believe like God is able to bless plan Bs. I do think like we sometimes get it wrong, and he's able to be like, okay.
I often get it wrong.
Yeah. We would all that would happen all the time to us. So I think if we make it like super like black and white, like, I miss the will of the Lord, but well, his hand of blessing is removed forever. Like that's not who he is. Yeah. But I do wonder sometimes like how many of us just go with the plan that we want, and so then he's pivoting to plan B, where actually maybe sometimes he's actually got something if in the stick it out, I know this is sucky right now, but I've got something here for you. And that's not just church. There's probably so many things, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, like whether it's marriages, there's all kinds of things where it's like we're just like we have our maybe natural reasons for it's like I want to bail, and I might even have some sort of legal right to be allowed to bail here, but what's the Lord actually saying?
Yeah, that's really good. So you write music?
I do.
Whoa.
Did you see the Bubba comment? Did you hear about the Bubba comment?
Yeah, I think I saw it secondhand by someone doing commentary on it. I listened to your podcast, so I did hear it.
I just want to get your perspective on. I just like bringing out the Bubba comment because it's like become a meme now. It's funny. Bubba. P.S. I love it. I'm not shredding it all, I promise. But
no, you can shred.
It's got me thinking about how we write songs? Because I'm not really a songwriter. I've written a few notes on songs, but how do you approach songwriting? And I know some of my friends who write songs, they approach it like how it's going to be perceived or how people are going to listen to it. I think that's okay. But do you write songs more like for church, glorifying God first and then the rest? Or do you write songs more out of experience and then in that hopes it would be a pathway to God? Like how do you approach songwriting, and how does it outwork itself? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally does. I think I write a bunch of different songs. So I have songs that I write that are just totally from my experience. Like there was a bunch of songs that I didn't plan to show anybody when I wrote them, around the miscarriages, around the IVF fails. And I wrote that song, I Can't Wait to Meet You, which was to our future child. And I never planned to show anyone that because it was so, like when I first sent that, as I wrote it, and then it was probably months, maybe even close to a year later that I was like, I actually feel like maybe that's not just for me. Sending that to, my producer and being like, I remember feeling I had more vulnerability whiplash than I'd ever had before in like sending that song. I was like, and so those songs, their experience, but then I think for church, I think it's definitely more, I'm thinking about, okay, what are the songs that our church needs to sing rather than saying, I think it's too abstract. There's probably people who are phenomenal at it. Like Mitch Wong would probably be someone who